Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have an English speaking video for you because I have a guest, special guest. This is my friend Zuzka.
Hi guys.
Zuzka is from Slovakia. We've met 4 years ago when we came to the UK, and we've been working together for a couple of years. We are both in advertising, in different parts of advertising, but we thought that we wanted to share some of our opinions on the industry, on our work with you, because I get a lot of questions about what's that like to work in advertising, like how does it work in London, whether it's worth to get into advertising. So we just thought we will answer your questions and maybe just help you out. So I came up with 10 questions. I have them on my phone, and we're going to turn it into a dialogue. So each of us can just talk about their perspective on certain things. So the first question is, what is your current role?
So I currently work as a senior account manager. I work in a marketing implementation agency. And just so you guys understand, every big company's got their creative agency who comes up with a big idea, and then they have their implementation agency, and that what it does is produces all the materials, whether it is a digital campaign, so all the banners, all the print campaign, everything that is out of home, so everything you can see outside, billboards, posters, yeah, like things in metro, and obviously TV commercials.
Yeah. And I work as an account director in a creative agency. So what we do in my agency, like we do all the strategic thinking, all the sort of planning of how we're going to run a campaign, what we're going to tell in that campaign to help our clients achieve their goals, and we do all the creative work. The second question is, why and how did you get into advertising?
So for me, it wasn't something that I've chosen. I wanted to be a translator as I studied English and history. But so hence at that role I found out I really like project management, and then I wanted to do something creative, and this is how I ended up where I am.
So it's a bit similar to my path, because I have BA in English, so I was studying linguistics, but then I also did MBA, and I did a lot of business studies, and I was always majoring in marketing, so this is something that I always thought this is the most interesting part of business and I really want to get in. So I've started as a translation project manager, then basically went all the way up to senior project manager, and then moved to media production, which is less creative than like a proper creative agency, but it's already part of advertising, so it's easier to get anywhere else from that. So the next question is, what does a typical day look like for you?
So I have two types of typical days. I have days where I have meetings. They are normally status meetings, then there are meetings with the client, whether it is in person or in a conference call, and there are status meetings with a creative agency. Basically all these meetings are to ensure that all the projects are running on time and all the issues are being raised. Then on the other days I just ensure that all the projects are running on time, and that all the people that are reporting to me, they know what they're doing, and they come back to me with any questions, and I ensure that is fine as well. So yeah.
Okay, so typical day for me, I think it's a bit more difficult when you work in a creative agency, because every day is different. But basically what I do, I manage a team, and I'm responsible for the relationship with the client. So on a typical day I will take briefings from the clients, so they will come to me and tell me basically what their problem is, and then we need to come up with a solution. So I would make sure that I do the casting session, so I talk to creative directors about who's the best for the job, and then I make sure that I facilitate and then manage the whole project. So I need to prepare cost proposals, timings, delegate tasks to my team members, so account managers, account executives, senior account managers, just to make sure that everybody knows what they are doing, it's planned well. And then usually I don't do the execution myself, because I'm an account director, so I rather manage other people doing it. But I'm responsible for everything, so I guess that's the burden of the role, that you're more senior, but then the all responsibility is on me. It depends on the flow of the project, but usually I also have lots of meetings with the clients, face-to-face, creative presentations, conference calls, sharing creative work with the client, taking their feedback on board, working on the feedback. So my role is quite complex, because it's about building relationships with the clients, so constant meetings. It's about managing the team, making sure that they are happy, they know what they are doing, delegating work, also working with other departments within the agency, and then making sure that we achieve a profit, because we are a business, we're not a charity, so it's all about making sure that we earn money at the same time.
Yeah, and pretty much just to say, production is basically the same. So whatever Aga just mentioned, the same actually applies for us as well in marketing implementation. implementation, so we do the planning and timings, and basically at my level I'm still, even though I'm managing the team, I'm also planning and doing whatever our guys doing as well. But on top I'm managing a certain project myself as well.
The next question is, have you ever encountered a glass ceiling? And just to explain to some of you that might not know what it means, glass ceiling, it means like a barrier that you cannot be promoted, or you cannot get a certain job, or just basically meaning you cannot get more advanced in what you're doing because of the fact that you're a woman, or because of your nationality, or something that you cannot really control because it's just who you are rather than what you do.
So for me, living in London or living in the UK in general, this has not really been an issue for wherever I got, really.
I think because of the wide variety of people, like the best people come here from all over the world. It's like Americas, Asia, Europe, and there are so many foreigners here. Sometimes I think there are more foreigners than actual British people. Sometimes you get that impression. And because the agencies that we've worked at, they were like very multicultural, so you would have people from like at least 50 or 60 countries.
Yeah.
So nobody ever cared like about my nationality. But I've had problems with my age, because as you know, I'm quite young still. And being an account director, people always ask you like, how old are you? How is it possible? And it's been always a problem for me. And once they didn't want to promote me because I was so young. I got it in the end, but it was a lot of stress and pressure. So I guess it depends. They more care about what you look like rather than where are you from sometimes, I guess. The next question is, what are the key skills or personality traits required for someone in your role, so for someone working in client services?
So for me, number one is patience, because you'll get to deal with loads of challenging situations. So you'll every day is going to be a problem. So you will have to come up with loads of solutions, and that actually links to my second point, which is a common sense. So you really, if you have a problem, you really have to think of myriads of ways how to solve it, and you are expected to do that
Independently, very often independently.
Yeah. So you are in charge. So hence everyone is sort of relying on you.
And I think for me, I always say that as an account person, you need to have really good social skills and people skills, because you bring everyone together, you bring everyone back to what the task is, to the brief, you control everything that happens. So you need to make sure that people like you, and it may not be as easy as it sounds, because very often you have challenges or you have deadlines which are very pressing, and you need to get people to do it. And believe me, if they don't like you, they it's difficult for them to commit or work twice as hard, especially if they don't like you or if they have a problem with you. So you need to make sure that people understand that you are on their side, that you will support them.
Very, very true.
And also the clients need to like you as well, because obviously, even though it's business, you still get that if you like someone, you'll
work with them.
Yeah,
it does. It's very, very true. It does come. The bottom line is, if they like you, they will work with you. If they don't, they won't. If no matter how smart you are, that all comes down to liking.
Yeah, if they don't like you, they will turn your life into hell sometimes. So just make sure that you always do your best, and you're really good with people. Just never be rude to anyone. And even if somebody, you need to understand that some people are rude because they are under so much pressure. It's not aimed at you personally. Yeah. It's just because, for example, they just explode because they're under pressure. And then another thing, which I think is crucial, is having good business acumen. So because we are the facilitators and the managers, we are responsible for profitability of projects, we are responsible for how much the clients pay, so for creating the fee proposals. You need to make sure that your spending against each project or campaign is accurate. So you need to be quite good with like finance, not anything overly complicated, but basic things like you need to be good with numbers. You need to be good with predicting things, with like forecasting. So you need to be basically a good business person in general.
And then also, just to come back to Aga's, and communication is very important. The way you communicate, interact with people is just to be as succinct as possible. So very like short but to the point, and not rude. Definitely, if you're rude, that's not the way.
You're done.
Yeah, you have to basically sometimes take the blame on you and make yourself look a bit stupid, but in a nice way, and that
because at the end
works.
it's worth it, because then you get what you want, and I think that's all there is.
And that's what actually does work.
Yeah. And I think in general, just ability to work under a lot of stress and pressure, whether it's time, money, or whatever the pressure is coming from the client. If you get stressed really easily, it's not a job for you.
Yeah, definitely. Pressure is non-stop, basically.
Never ending story. Another question. what are the best and the worst aspects of your job?
So for me, I would say I really like the variety of people I work with, because there are people with many different backgrounds, and you get to learn about different cultures, and you see people interact differently, and that's a big plus.
You also learn how to deal with people, because when you work with people from Asia, from Middle East, there's a different way to approach them, and if you want them to do what you want, you need to play,
by their rules.
By their rules. So I think definitely that thing. And also working in advertising, usually you get a lot of creative people, so they are a really interesting bunch of people. There's a lot of socializing going out after work. People are really close with each other, and everybody's a different person. Usually, for example, when I think about finance, they all look the same, they all talk the same. Don't get me wrong, it's just that you have a very typical finance person, I guess, in mind. But with marketing, everybody's completely different. Yeah. No, I agree that this is definitely a problem.
So for the worst bits, I think it's definitely the pressure. It's insane, and then working a lot of overtime. And if I say a lot of overtime, it's weekends, non-stop weekends, and non-stop after work.
So it's not 9 to 5, 9 to 6.
No.
It's like 9 to whenever you're done.
And then if maybe the next question, if the money is really worth it, whatever we make, it's not. That's what it is. So normally you would, let's say for my role, I would say I make 5,000 less than what I should be making for the amount of stress and responsibility and pressure I'm getting.
I think just coming back to like the worst aspects of the job, I agree that overtime, which is usually non-paid, unfortunately, but I guess this is how it works. You like it or not. I think in general, when I came to the UK, I was expecting to earn much more, because you hear everybody talking how great it is in here, like you earn so much money. But actually, look, like being quite down to earth, I don't think we earn very little, but I don't think we earn as much as I expected initially. So I think the more senior you get, obviously the higher the salary. So I'm gonna put a link down to salary surveys that have been just done, I think a year or 2 years ago. So you can see the brackets for each role of how much you can actually get in advertising, because it doesn't make any sense for us to tell you how much is it going to be. You can just check there, like what's the role that you're interested in, how much you can get from to. Yeah, but basically I thought we're gonna earn more than we actually because of the stress, because of the importance of the role, and the responsibility.
The responsibility that lies on you is really huge, because you'll get the blame for everything. So Aga gets the blame
for everything.
I get the blame for the people that are reporting to me. She gets the blame for people that are reporting to her.
But this is how it works, and I wouldn't like to somebody junior to get the blame, because it might just destroy them. So I guess if you have good managers, if you have good people around you, you just make it work. Sometimes you take the blame, sometimes somebody else will take the blame. But the thing is to never give up, and don't let it bring you down. Don't let it just think you're not good enough, or think that maybe you're not up for the job. Everybody has their ups and downs, and in here, because of the pressure, lots of people just feel that they just can't do it anymore. But I think also you have times when they are like really busy, and then it's a bit less busy, so it fluctuates during the year. So just don't give up. Don't give up.
Yeah, you really have to have a thick skin in
yes.
In
you
this
cannot be
environment.
overly sensitive. If you're really sensitive, if somebody's criticizing you and then you take it personally, and you need to understand that even if people criticize you and it's not constructive, just deal with it.
Yeah, and have a positive outlook, because that's the only thing that will keep you going in this industry.
People value optimists. So if you're not positive, you're not optimistic. If you're a bit of a drama queen, it's not a place for you.
People will not want to work with you. So hence positivity, and that again it comes down to likability.
And negativity spreads. So if it's gonna spread to your team, it's gonna be difficult for you to manage it. It's all like interlinked.
Yeah. Misery loves company.
Okay, now you're just talking. Okay, let's just move on to the next question. And the last question we have for today is a tip for anyone who wants to get in.
So if you want to come and work in the UK, you don't really need to be educated to start working in the advertising industry. You can start at the bottom and work your way up.
But I think that still education is quite helpful, because if you are a recent graduate or you're about to graduate, you can actually take part in one of the graduate schemes. So you start at the very bottom, and they teach you everything. They teach you the basics, and then you build on it. So after you complete your graduate scheme and they like you, they can actually hire you, and then you just get the job. Yeah, but my tip is also stop complaining, work harder. So just work your way up. There's no other way to do it, because at some point, if you've skipped a level for some reason, you will feel it, because you will lack knowledge or experience in certain areas, and it's going to be even more stressful. So work your way up, work hard, stop complaining, stay positive, hit the ground running. Okay guys, moving on to final conclusions. We're gonna just wrap everything together and share our final thoughts with you.
So marketing and advertising is really exciting place to be, especially when you're a young person. You get to meet loads of exciting people, you get to work on loads of exciting projects, and you'll basically learn a lot about the industry. And it's not only about the knowledge that you gain about advertising and marketing per se, but it's also about the knowledge that you learn about yourself as well, because as for the communication skills and people skills, you get to learn and develop as a person, which is an incredible benefit for you, you know, wherever you are, wherever your future will lead you to. And but for the sake of loads of pressure in the industry, you don't get too often very old people, if I may say so. Older people. So normally younger people work within this kind of industry because it leads to burnout because of the pressure.
Yeah, I have to admit it's true. You don't get a lot of older people working in advertising, especially in client services. It's a bit more common in the creative part of the business, but not necessarily the client-facing jobs. Normally people over 40 either just move on to the client side. Obviously it's stressful as well, but it has different pressures put on you, and usually the salary is higher, and you have more space to grow, because agencies usually are not as big as like a big corporations or client businesses. So more place to build your but I would say, you know, it does take perhaps twice as long as it would take you to grow in an agency. It does take time. It takes time. Yeah, definitely. Because in an agency, if you are really good, if you're in a good agency, people will recognize it and reward you for it. And at the client side, there is a lot of politics involved,
and loads of heavy structures that you have to go through.
But that's a corporate, corporate environment. Yeah. So in general, if you could say, would you recommend, like for others to get into advertising, or do you think that there are other sectors which are a bit more tempting? Or
well, definitely. If this is something that you want to try, definitely go for it. If what we've just mentioned and talked about doesn't really completely resonate with you, perhaps this is not something for you.
Or if it scares you, then yeah, maybe not necessarily. But I also think it's a great industry if you're just getting into like your first role, or you want to like start your career. I think it's a fantastic place. You make so many connections, and then within your network maybe you can find other opportunities. So in general, yeah, except for stress and pressure, I don't see any other negatives really, I guess.
Yeah.
Just hang in there. I think we came to an end. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the section below. I will try to answer to all of them. And I'm gonna let Zuzka finish the video.
Hi guys, again, thanks so much for watching the video. Aga, thanks so much for having me. And I hope you can find it all helpful. And I'm wishing you a really great day. Take care, bye-bye. Bye.